read that real quick.
I don't like the way this guy's.
This is John 10, verse 10. And it reads, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy." Right? So Esau is the thief, and he comes. The only reason he comes is to kill, to steal, and to destroy, man. He don't come for no other reason, man. All right? Like I said, that's why he's trying to get these different nations like Syria and Iran and Venezuela. He's not coming there to help the people, man. All right? He's coming there to steal. He's coming there to take what they have. You see? Let's continue. It says, let me read that again. "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly," man. And who's that? That's Yahushua. He's coming that all this is gonna end, man. All right? And that he's gonna uplift the Israelites as his chosen people, man, and take these Edomites out. All right? Because you're never gonna have peace under these Edomites. It's impossible, man. All right? As long as Esau Edom is ruling, there will never be peace. Okay? He's always gonna be plotting to get what you have. All right? Like I always say, if right now in the reserve where the Native Americans are, if they were found out to be oil reserves on that land, he would find a reason to kick them off, man. He would make up some reason, he'll write some law, right? And say, oh, this is why you have to get off the land now. You see? And they'll try and give them another land without that on it. Because he's the devil, right? Like I'm reading, all right? And it's just true. They can't deny it. They can't say, no, that you're lying. It's the proof is in the history, it's in the facts, it's in what you're doing today, man. All right? It's not just made up. All right? Let me get Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, man. I'm done with that. Because that's what Esau is all about, man. You see, I was getting on Jake at first, but it always segues back to Esau Edom. All right? Because Esau Edom has to be called out, man. The Most High, the Spirit has Esau Edom being called out. But that makes you Israelites uncomfortable, man. Right? Because you Israelites, the only people you're comfortable calling out is your own people, man. Right? You don't call this devil out. All right? And when you do, you try and do it on a peaceful way. But when it's your people, you foaming at the mouth, you ready to fight. You know? Because you Israelites, man, you Israelites have a problem, man. You have a cook real quick, man. Right? And the thing came out with what happened with Dave Chappelle, right? He was supposedly he ran away for 50 million. Which who the hell is gonna run away from 50 million for no reason? Right? What was happening was in his contract, right? He was supposed to get like, what was it? Was it 50%? I believe it was like 50% or more. It was either 50% or it was more than 50% of what the gross income was. Okay? And what had happened was when Esau found out that his show, the Dave Chappelle show, did better than what it was anticipated to do, right? It did like 500 million. Esau offered him, he said, you know what? Well, the contract was only based on if you were to do, well, he didn't even give a number. He just said basically, we weren't expecting you to do that good, so we can't give you that amount of money. Okay? So what we'll give you is $50 million. So Dave Chappelle said, nah, I'm not taking, how does that make me look? I'm going to take 50 million, but I'm supposed to get 250 million, according to our contract. But the devil, the so-called white man, what did he say, man? He said, nah. We're gonna give you 50 million. Okay? He's gonna go against his contract, go against what he set up, all right? And try and give him less than what he was supposed to get. A lot less. All right? So then Esau said, listen, if you don't accept that, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it look like you were crazy. All right? So then by the time he got back home, they already made it look like he was crazy. Okay? So that's the game that Esau plays, man. And this is why you can never trust the Edomites, man. When you say the Edomites, you're speaking about you so-called white people, man. All right? You can never trust them. All right? Because that's the game that they play. That's how they operate. You see? Let's get Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. This is Habakkuk 2. And I'll start at verse 4. And it reads, Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, All right, speaking about the Edomites, their soul, their spirit is not upright in them, man. So you're trying to make them change their spirit, all right? That doesn't make sense. You can't do that, all right? You're trying to make them change what they are, you see? And it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. And that wine represents that philosophies that he pushes. All right? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, but who enlarges his desire as hell. So he doesn't keep at home means he's in all these different lands. Okay? There's U.S. embassies all around the world. Okay? So he's not keeping at home. He's not staying in his territory. He's not content with what he has. He needs to go to all these different territories and steal what they have. You see? That's how Esau and Edom works. That's what I'm reading about. And it says, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's even going back to the time of the Greeks, man, because Esau was doing that as soon as that was the first time the so-called white man got into power, by the way, was in the time of the Greeks, okay? That was the first time the Edomites ruled, all right? So what he did even back then was he tried to force other people, right, to accept his way, all right, to live his way of life. You see what I'm saying? Right, to leave from their culture and their ways, their laws, and to do his way, all right? And he would kill them if they didn't. Matter of fact, I might read that after, all right? But that's an example of him gathering unto himself all nations, all right? And it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. All right, so now all these other nations are starting to catch on to what the so-called white man is doing. All right, seeing that he's just stealing from their land. All right, seeing the game, it's the same game, it's the same plot. You know, when you watch RT News, they'll go into that, right? They'll go into that more than what CNN and Fox, because that's all fluff, that's all garbage, you know. But RT is more, it gives you more real news. All right. So basically, they'll go into the fact of it's the same plot that America does everywhere, all right? The same system, the same, we're coming in there for peace, but then they end up stealing the natural resources, okay? It's always the same thing. It's the same game, all right? Let me read it again. It says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, all right? How long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And when you look at that word clay, it's bayatya, which means debt, all right? Which this whole system is based upon debt, man. This is the first system that was ever based upon debt, which is unbalanced. That's why the money keeps devaluing. That's why there's inflation, man. Right? Because it's based upon debt. It's not based upon gold. It's not based upon silver. Nothing backing it, all right? It's really worthless, you see? So that's why eventually that debt bubble is going to pop. And this money is going to be completely worthless. You see, like in Germany at one point, right? The money was completely worthless, man. All right. Where you had to bring like a barrel, right? A barrel of money just to buy a loaf of bread, man. Okay. So that's the time that we're coming to, based upon this debt-based system, man. And that's why it says, "Woe to him that layeth himself with thick debt." All right, it's not good to be in debt, man. Right? Because you're going to be constantly in servitude. It says that the borrower is servant to the lender. All right, so you're going to be constantly in servitude because why? You constantly have debt. All right, and it says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? And a weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt beat for booties unto them. All right, so all these other nations, they're going to basically come against you. All right, Because now they all have nuclear power. They all have nuclear weapons. So now there's nothing to really fear. You see? Before, Esau was the only one with the nuclear weapons, right? So he could threaten all these other nations. These other nations in fear. But now he can't do that. All right? It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, right? Like I was going into, Esau spoiled many nations. So-called white people have spoiled many nations, all right? Not just Native Americans, not just so-called black people. Basically, every nation that you see is a third world country, there's a reason, man, all right? Something has happened to their economy, right? Not by chance, but because it was plotted upon, all right? And then they became a third world country. So because you spoiled many nations, it says, because he has spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of them, and of all that dwell therein. So because of the blood that was shed, because of the spoiling, because of the robbery, right? The Most High is going to allow these other nations to do the same thing to you. And that's what these Edomites don't like. They don't like to be told about themselves. They start to cry. They start to bitch up. All right? When they start like the Jacks, the ending for Mortal Kombat, man. These Edomites are losing it, man, for a damn video game, man. All right? That shows you Esau's not. He's too weak. When we get him in slavery, it's gonna really be double, man, because Esau can't handle it, man. All right? He's not. First of all, we're spiritually stronger than these Edomites, man. All right, by far. So how is it going to be for him to go through what we went through double? It's going to be serious, man. All right? And it says, whew, matter of fact, let me read that part again, man. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land. Right? Because how did they get this land? It was based upon blood. All right? Bloodshed. All right? Right? So, excuse me. Everything that Esau got was always based upon bloodshed, stabbing somebody in the back. It was never anything fair, anything up front. You see what I'm saying? So because of that, it said all the nation shall spoil thee. See? Right? And for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. All right? So because of that, that's why the Most High is going to allow that to happen to you. Let's get Numbers 35 and 33. This is Numbers 35 and verse 33, and it reads, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. All right? So it says blood, it pollutes the land, it defiles the land, you see? So the land that we're standing on right now was based upon bloodshed, man. All right? Right? Let's go. It says, for blood it defileth the land, and the land could not be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So that right there is an eye for an eye, man. You see? When you do something to a nation, or you do something to a people, you got to get that same thing done unto you, man. Right? So that's what's going to happen to the so-called white man and all the rest of these, the so-called white man, that's what's going to happen to him for what he's done to all the rest of these nations. You see? Right? And that's not based upon how you look, right? Because Esau likes to say, oh, because of... No. It's not based upon how you look. It's based upon your actions. Like I was reading in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, man. All right? What you have done is why you're going to reap what you're going to reap. All right? Let's get Revelations 18 real quick. This is Revelations 18. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse. I just want to go to the point. This is verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Right? So reward her even as she rewarded you. Right? So how did these Edomites reward us, man? Right? They rewarded us with slavery, right? With hanging, with lynching, right? Castration, right? They used to cut the babies out of the Native Americans' womb, right? And stomp on the babies and feed them to dogs. All manner of wickedness, man. All manner of evil. These Edomites that you could think of, all the sick shit that these Edomites did not even come out yet. Not even half of it came out yet. You see? When you see those little slave movies, and that's not even the half of it, man. All right? You gotta watch like Goodbye Uncle Tom to get a little glimpse of some of the stuff that was really going on, man. All right? Like for example, like on the slave ships, right? They would kill an Israelite. They would kill an Israelite man, right? And they would feed him to the rest of the Israelites, man, with rice, bro. You see what I'm saying? So they would force you to eat your own brother without you knowing it, man. So that's a different level of evil, man. All right? But these Edomites are going to have to pay for every single thing that they did. Like it said, he had to remember their iniquities, man. The Most High didn't forget it, man. The Most High just waiting, right? He's letting everything play out. And then at the last minute, right, when you think everything is cool, he's going to come down with that sweet, man. All right? And the society is going to be destroyed. You see? It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. So everything that these Edomites did, we're going to do unto them double. You see? So it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be, close to the same. It's going to be double. All right? So we think about the castration, the lynching, right? The burning of men, all right? Innocent men, all right? Chopping up of women and the babies in their womb and all that shit. You see? Esau's going to get that double. Okay? We're going to do that same thing to him. Matter of fact, that's in I don't even know what scripture that is, but it says that, right? Happy is he. And it says, in the cup which he had filled, fill unto her double. So we're going to fill that cup double, man. That cup of slavery, that cup of torture. We're going to do that to them 2 times, you see? And that's coming in the near future, man. As this society starts to fall, right? Because anyone who's really in the know, who knows finances, who sees what's really going on in the society, they can see that the society is in a rapid decline, man. Right? And it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. That's what these Edomites think, man. They think they're not going to have to go through any problems, man, any tribulation, man. But the Most High has something else coming, man. They will go through tribulation, all right? And I promise you that, all right? The Most High hasn't set up where after the society collapses, all Edomites will be going into slavery along with the rest of the heathens. See? So that's part of your judgment, man. That's poetic justice, man. All right? And it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and more. See, so it's going to happen fast. You see, the society's on a rapid decline, right? These Edomites, they don't have the same notoriety they had in the 50s, man. They're not looked at the same as when they were in the 50s, man, the 40s. You see, and the older generation, they realize that, and that's why that's part of the reason why they're mad. Okay, that's part of the reason why they get so angry and they lash out, because they see that they're going down. They see their society's going down. No one's respecting them no more. All right. So this is why they act the way they act. You see, and it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. And that fire is going to come from those nuclear missiles, all right? Because there will be a World War III, all right? That's getting brewed up right now. It's going to start in the Middle East, and it's going to come to these shores right here, mainly America, all right? Mainly America is going to be destroyed by those nuclear missiles, but all these different places where these Edomites dwell is also going to get hit, okay? And it says, matter of fact, let me jump to, let me get Jeremiah 49. Let's get Jeremiah 49 real quick. Right? Because Esau thinks he ain't going to go through nothing. No, we're going to continue on like this with this Edomite supremacy. Nah, man. That's done. All right? You Edomites, that's already out the window, basically, man. But now, the Most High is going to exalt his people, man. All right? Which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. There's going to be a turning of tables. There's going to be a trading of places, man. All right? If you haven't seen that movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, go and watch that. That's a perfect example of what's going to happen, man. All right? Because in these Edomites' mind, they put you in a situation, right? And then they're like, oh, he can't get up because it's just in them. It's because they're inherently stupid. And he teaches that in his science. You see, it's false science. You see? But when the tables turn now, they're not going to have any excuse. When the Most High send back Yahushua to deliver us, they're not going to have any excuse, right? They're going to have to be faced with reality, man. All right? This is Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. And it reads, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunk it." And who was that? That was us, right? We drank in that cup of slavery, that cup of torture, all right? Cutting out babies out of the mother's womb. They did that to the Native Americans, to the indigenous Latinos, man. All right? So that's part of the cup that we drank, you see? And it says, but it was not, it says we were not supposed to drink of that cup, right? Because we're the Israelites. So ultimately we're supposed to be ruling, okay? It says, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? So are you Edomites going to go unpunished, man? You did all this wickedness to us. So are you going to be the one to go unpunished? To skip away scot-free, man? After all the wickedness that you've done? Let's see what the Most High says. It says, thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So you're going to drink of that same cup, all right? But it's going to be double. That's poetic justice right there, all right? The Most High said, He's going to allow you to rule for a time period. And when you ruled, you did all this wickedness, you did all this evil to His chosen people, right? So He's going to allow that evil to come upon you twofold, 2 times. You see? Because instead of about 500 years, it's going to be 1,000 years for you devils. All right? And it's going to be a lot worse. So it's going to be a lot more severe. All right? So Esau's going to have, eventually Esau's going to have to face reality, man. Because Esau has been in this bubble of lies for so long, and he's put that lie, he spread those lies in that veil upon all these other nations, okay? But the truth is now being revealed, man, through us, starting with us, okay? Ever since the apostles and elders came on YouTube, starting in 2007, the truth has been being revealed more and more, all right? About the true characteristics of these devils, all right? And who we are, see? So that's the beauty of it, man. So that's what we're doing out here. We're out here, if you ask what we're out here to do, we're out here to wake up the elect of our nation and to remove that veil from them, all right? So that the elect can be sealed, right? Because once the elect is sealed, that's when everything's going to start to move a lot faster, okay? Right? And then Yahushua is going to come back and deliver us from this situation. You see? So let me get Jeremiah, Isaiah 60. Let's get Isaiah 60 real quick. All right, this is Isaiah 60. I'll start at verse 1. Arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. Right? And the light represents what? The truth. All right, that's the light that we're shining. We're shining that truth in the midst of all this darkness, okay? For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. All right, so the darkness is the lies that have been spread based upon the Edomites, man. All right, based upon Esau, Edom, right? The rulers of this present world. They've spread lies on the earth. You see? And it says, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and His glory shall be seen upon thee. And that's what's being seen right now. That's why you have brothers coming to the camp trying to learn, right? Because they see that light, right? They realize this has to be the truth. Something inside of them, right, in their pineal gland is waking up, okay? Because Esau, for so long, he's taught you that what? You're black, right? You're Latino, you're Native American. When that's all bywords, that's not your true nationality, okay? Black is, first of all, that's a negative connotation, man. All right? When you look in the dictionary, it means negative, void of life, evil. All right? Which they put that on you strategically. going back to 1681. That was a made-up term. White and black people, that was all made up, man. All right? They're really the Edomites and we're the Israelites. Okay? That's the truth. And the reason they want to get away from that is because what the Bible says about the Edomites. The Bible says a very bad judgment is coming to the Edomites. Matter of fact, let me get one of them. All right? Because when you look at us, we're not black. There's no such thing as black people, man. All right? We're brown skinned, man. We go from a dark brown to a light brown. That's it, man. Different shades of melanin. All right? And when you look at the so-called white man, he's what? He's red. You go from a dark red to a pink. All right? Because he lacks melanin. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. It's nothing complicated, you see? Matter of fact, let's get something on Esau, man, because the scriptures specifically speak about the Edomites. This is Malachi 1 and verse 2. It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Right? So the Israelites are asking the Most High, where have you loved us, man? Because they're looking at their condition, they're looking at where they live, all right? And they're saying, where have you shown us love? That's what the Israelites are asking the Most High, okay? And it says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. Now Esau is the progenitor of the Edomites. All right, Esau is the progenitor of the Edomites. See, so the Edomites, right? They're being exposed for who they are now because of this scripture right here. All right, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, and we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So the Most High is going to throw down everything that Esau builds up, right? When you look at these skyscrapers, these big buildings, right? The Most High said he's going to throw all this down. He's going to break all this up, all right? Because at one point, Esau was in a low position, man, right? Going back to the Byzantine Empire, the Dark Ages, right? We were ruling, okay? And that's why he likes to say, oh, we don't know what happened in the Dark Ages, which is a lie. They know exactly what happened in the Dark Ages, man. All right? And certain professors in certain universities, they'll tell you what happened, right? But they'll tell you, oh, keep it on the low. Don't give this to the general public, all right? Because they don't want you to know, all right? But the truth of the matter is, in the Dark Ages, so-called black people were ruling Europe, all right? You go back to the knights in shining armor, all that, the Moors, okay, the Saxons, right, the Danes, those were all Israelites, man. Those were all so-called Negroes, man. You see, right? When you go into those and you look at the relics, you look at the pictures going back pre-Renaissance period, right, pre-1400, pre-1500s, I should say. You'll see they're all dark images, man. Okay. So at that time, that's when Esau was impoverished. But what they did was they came out of that poverty, going back to the Renaissance era, right? Starting in 1492, really, when Christopher Columbus came to Hispaniola, that devil, all right? That was the beginning of Esau coming back into power. See? So when he came back into power, he built up, right? So you see all these buildings that you see now. So now he's building up. But the Most High said that he will cast down. So everything that they build up, the Most High said he's going to break it down. All right? So let's continue. It says, let me start at 4 again. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. And this is why they don't want to call themselves Edomites, okay? Because the Lord hath indignation forever, right? They're known as the wicked, the border of wickedness, right? So it's a good reason why Esau doesn't want to call himself an Edomite. Well, no, we're not Edomites. We're Caucasian. We're white. We're Greek, we're this, we're that. No. That's confusion. Because when you look into the scriptures, there's no nation called Greek, there's no nation called white, there's no nation called black. All right? There's Israelites, there's Ishmaelites, there's Moabites. Where do you fit in? That's what you need to be asking yourself. Which nation are you? All right? You see? And that's the type of question Esau doesn't want to answer. Because now when you go into that, you can tie it in to different scriptures. Now we can jump to Job 9 and 24, right? Jump to Job 9 and 24. This is Job 9 verse 24, and it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? So now we know who the wicked is, right? It just said that Esau was the border of wickedness. The Edomites are the border of wickedness. Now we see the earth is ruled by the wicked, man. That people that are known as the wicked. Now who is that? It's all you have to do is put the puzzle together, man, and it's very easy to see. You see? And this is why eventually they're gonna have to try and get us off the street, right? They're gonna have to start to try and silence this truth because it's too evident, it's too obvious. Okay? And it says, and it goes further. It doesn't just say the wicked are in rulership. It goes further to tell you what the wicked would do. Right? Because like I said right before, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans were ruling Europe for 1,000 years, going back to the Byzantine Empire, the Dark Ages. And when you go into Europe, and you go into those different museums, you'll see black images. You'll see images of Jesus looking black, so-called Jesus, right? And these different kings and whatever looking black because we ruled at that time, all right? And what happened was in the Renaissance period, which means rebirth in French, Renaissance, they came back into power, man. All right? After they fell in the pagan Roman Empire, they came back into power. You see? So now this is going to go further and explain what they will be doing when they're in power, right? It says, I'm going to read it again. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Right? Who are the judges of the planet Earth? The Israelites. Right? So when he saw those dark images, they had a thing called iconoclasm where they would destroy and burn as much images as they could. Right? And then they would paint over certain images and bleach it out, right? Throw bleach on it, right? Or white it out, right? So that they look like Edomites. You see? So that's him covering the faces of the judges, right? It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? So who is this man? Who is the wicked? You see why the elites don't want this truth to be put out there, man? Because it's too obvious, man. It exposes them for who they are. Right? They're not white, they're not Caucasian. That's a made-up term. That's a made-up ideology, man. All right? They're really Edomites, man. And we're really Israelites. You see, we're not black, we're not Latino, we're not Native American. And there's no such thing as mixed people. Okay? You are who your father is, man. All right? If your father was an Israelite, right, going back 100 years, man, your great-grandfather going back 100 years an Israelite, you're an Israelite. It doesn't matter what you look like, man. As long whatever your father is, that's what you are. You see? So all this confusion that Esau has spread around the world, we're taking that out, man. And we're bringing back the natural, the truth, which is the natural form of things, man. Okay? See, but Esau doesn't want that. He wants to continue to keep these people in confusion. Like I read in Isaiah 60, the earth is covered in great darkness. All right? Because Esau is putting that darkness upon you. All right? Because that's the only way for him to hide his identity, man. Right? Because if everything was out in the open, he would be calling himself an Edomite, and then they would look at the Bible and they say, okay, the Edomites are known as the wicked. The Edomites are going to be destroyed. The Edomites are going to be exterminated. All right? Now, obviously, they're not going to want to tie themselves to that. You see? So they call themselves Greek. They call themselves German. They call themselves whatever they call themselves, which is not their actual nationality. Right? Just like your nationality is not Jamaican. Our nationality is not Jamaican, not Haitian, not black. All right? That's made up. Okay? We're Israelites, according to the Bible. And when you look into that word Israel, right, Yashar Allah in ancient Hebrew, it means he is a prince of God, or he is a prince of the power. You see? And when you really look at our people, man, when you look at Jake, you can clearly see that they're princes of God, man. You don't have another Stevie Wonder of another nation. You don't have a Michael Jordan of any other nation. All right? Why? Because we're a superior people, man. As Deuteronomy 7 and 6 says. But what is Esau trying to do? He tried to cast you away from your excellency. He tried to make you seem like you were lower than. You see? Now you're trying to fight to be equal. You shouldn't be fighting to be equal. You should know that you're better than them, man. All right? You see? And that's what we're teaching our people. That's what we're showing them. You see? Because obviously they've forgotten that. Let's get Deuteronomy 7 and 6. This is Deuteronomy. And guess what? These Edomites teach their children that, man. When they at home, they teach their children that they're better than you, man. They don't teach them that you're equal. Okay? Let's get Deuteronomy 7 and 6. This is Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6, and it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth." So the Most High chosen us to be a special people. All right, like I mentioned, man, you don't got no Michael Jordan of any other nation, man. You don't got a LeBron James of no other nation, no, no Stevie Wonder, right? He can play blind, right? Prince can play about 30 instruments, all right? You don't have that coming from any other nation. Why? Because we're a special people, all right? Let's get let me show you exactly. Because the Most High, if he has a people, right? You got to think about it. This is the greatest power that's ever lived. If he has a people, who is he going to pick, man? Is he going to pick these Amalekites, man? He said, which they call themselves the so-called Jews. They don't have no talent, right? They're just bland, okay? You see what I'm saying? They're wicked as hell. Every nation knows that they're evil. They got kicked out of every nation that they were in as the Khazarians, okay? Or is he going to choose those to be his people, man? Of course not. He's going to choose the best of the best. All right? And we are the best of the best. You see? And you Jakes are afraid to say that. You know? You're too busy trying to be equal with someone who's below you, man. Okay? Which shows you have a problem, man. You've been broken down mentally, man. Which hundreds of years of slavery will do that to you, man. Will fuck you up. And that's what happened. Let's get Deuteronomy 28, man. Because this shows you why we went into slavery and what was the reason. Okay? Because there was a reason why we went into slavery. This is Deuteronomy 28. And I'll start at verse 15. And it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." So everything that I'm about to read, right, well, is a curse, you see, that was put upon Israel for disobeying him, for disobeying Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see? Right? And following after different gods and doing your own thing. You see? This is why that happened. But when we come back to our power, good things happen. Every time when you read the scriptures, man. Right? We start to prosper. So that's what Israel has to do. Okay? I'm going to start, let's read verse 16. We'll read a couple of these and then I'm going to jump to the main ones.